Happy Saturday. We weren't expecting this, at least on Saturday afternoon. But here we are, Jack Pilgrim, Jacob Polachek, ready to rapidly react to the news that Kentucky will be looking for another starting point guard in 2026-2027. Jaylen Lowe is officially out. His father, Marlon Lowe, tells KSR that he has decided to enter the transfer portal. Many other reports, including from On3's own Joe Tipton, confirming the exact same thing. Jacob, your rapid reaction too. You good?
Yeah, my computer almost fell.
There we go. Are we good? Your rapid reaction to Jaylen Lowe's transfer decision?
Not a huge surprise. I honestly feel bad for Jaylen Lowe because this season didn't go as planned, and he just got off on the wrong foot with that shoulder injury, and it just never seemed right. Never really got a great chance to show what he was capable of. But at the same time, I don't think this really shocks anyone. We talked about it in the middle of the season that there was a strong chance that he was going to leave. And then as exit meetings were happening, it seemed like there was a good shot that they were going to be looking for a new point guard for the 26-27 season.
Some of the feedback that I've heard on my end about just Kentucky's pursuit of a point guard is, they're going big game hunting, that they want to build this next roster with 3 high dollar kind of core pieces and fill everything else out with value, kind of money ball. Let's go get the analytic nerds and find the absolute best pieces, best bang for your buck to fit alongside the stars. So I think that was kind of a pretty real tell that if you're going big game hunting for a point guard, what do you do with the guy who was supposed to be that for last year's cycle, knowing the injury news, knowing kind of what the value that he had and the cost of his initial addition last off season that just was not going to be. I think they would have potentially brought him back, but knowing that he wouldn't have come at a major discount, I think it was just a total non-starter on Kentucky's side to even begin the conversation. And the exit was pretty short and sweet. That it was just, hey, we're going in a different direction, and let's hope, wish you nothing but the best. So, what do you think Kentucky does at point guard, knowing what you know about this exit and what you've heard in some early portal speculation, Jacob?
Yeah, I know people on the KS board are bugging me for a name. I know. I've heard that Kentucky's in pursuit. I think depth is the key word here because obviously you already have Mason Williams coming in. That's clearly a depth piece, long-term development. But I think they're going to try and get 2 additional point guards, starting point guard, a backup point guard, and have Mason Williams be that depth piece. And I've heard some big names mentioned with them, none that have been in the portal or announced their intentions to enter the portal yet. But I have heard the Kentucky plans to invest a lot of their NIL budget at that point guard position.
I think while we're just kind of talking about some of the plans and news that could be coming out here shortly and building stars, Tyron Stokes, there's speculation that he could be making a commitment here soon. What is the latest with the number 1 player in the class of 2026?
Yeah, I mean, we've heard – I'm so nervous to talk anything Tyron Stokes because – if I say that I think he's going to commit next week, that probably means he's going to move his commitment back to next August. So right now, the rumor is that he's going to commit around McDonald's All-American game next week in Arizona. Kansas and Kentucky are the 2 schools that everyone's talking about. Right now, the lean seems to be towards Kansas, but Kentucky has not gone away in this recruitment. They, like you mentioned, or at least reported, that Kentucky's still operating like they can get Tyron Stokes and they can build this roster around him. So Kentucky's not going away, but Kansas has been there this whole time. And right now, a lot of the experts lean towards a Kansas pick.
And I've heard on my end that Oregon is just kind of a flashy placeholder name. So it's not just an A or B option. It's just kind of adding for the Nike pull and just for glitz and glamour. I think they just wanted to add Oregon, but I do not see them as a legitimate threat as he comes down the home stretch of his recruitment. Here in the next, I guess the last couple of days, 2 major staff changes, 3, I guess, if you want to include Keegan Brown's official hiring. But Jason Hart out, Alvin Brooks III. KSR reports that he is officially out as well. What was your take on both departures? But I guess more recently was the news that AB's contract was not renewed by Mark Pope.
Yeah, I think that you can kind of look at these as 2 in the same, because we reported early on in the offseason that there was expected to be some staff changes, maybe up to 2 or 3 assistants leaving. And so I don't think this is a huge surprise, but at the same time, I think Hart, it was a clear exit plan where SMU going to coach under his former coach, Andy Enfield, who he was with at USC. And that seemed like a pretty clear path. And Alvin Brooks, it was a little bit more, as Matt talked about on the KS board, just more Kentucky's decision trying to shake up the staff ranks.
And I think there's a little back and forth. I don't think it was a lot of love both directions with AB. I do think that yes, it was technically Pope's decision, but I don't think that they necessarily saw eye to eye there at the very end. And I think it was a welcomed mutual decision there at the end that just happened to be with his contract expiring and not renewed. So there's still speculation that staff changes could come. I'm not guaranteeing any of that, but there's still some whispers there that's a very real possibility. And just to be frank, I've heard that there's a lot of stay and go decisions that are leaning toward go. That this could be a pretty dramatic turnover in terms of roster, and Mark Pope kind of hitting reset entirely. I think that this season left a bad taste in his mouth about the type of guys that he brought in and the fit and the puzzle pieces just not working together whatsoever. And I think that he wants to, give himself a legitimate redo to at a chance at salvaging this with the biggest offseason of his career, and a year that a lot of people are saying that he's on the hot seat or will start becoming on the hot seat if things don't go well this offseason and going into next season. So it's going to be fascinating. I really do think that with the portal opening on April 7th, do you expect any other big news to pop up before we get to the, here in the next week and a half or so until we get to April 7th? Any other major news popping off?
Of course. Yeah. I think that from the Kentucky side, obviously, like you mentioned, some big stay-go decisions. And then this is really where you're going to have some of the bigger names announcing their intentions to enter the portal, because you have some of the best teams in the country still playing basketball right now. Those guys aren't going to be announcing their intentions to enter until they're eliminated. So as we keep creeping towards that national title game, and this year, as we talked about, the transfer portal opens the day after the national title game. So it's a little different than last year when it opened after the second round of the NCAA tournament. So you're going to have a lot of names inching right towards that national title game, announcing their intentions to enter, and those are the best teams in the country, so you're getting some of the best players in the country. Yeah.
So we will see. It make or break year for Pope. A lot of people view things that way. A lot of stuff popping up on KS board, breaking news left and right. I mean, we weren't expecting our Saturday afternoon to look like this, but here we are on the KSR YouTube channel. So make sure if you are watching this video, like it, subscribe to it, and make sure you go subscribe to KSR Plus. So much content coming out. I guess before we wrap up, the Malachi Moreno, we dropped some intel earlier this week about his decision, and that meeting did happen with Mark Pope. I'm told that is the top priority for Mark Pope going into this offseason, that Pope would really like to get that deal done sooner rather than later, and has shown that he's a top priority, trying to commit quite a bit of the cap space to Malachi Moreno and say, hey, we love the development, we love what you were able to show in year one, but if we're going to do this, if we're going to push all of our chips in on the Malachi Moreno basket, like we need to see, strength and conditioning growth. We need to see you hit, your development unbelievably hard this offseason and kind of tap into that potential as an All-American talent that they view him as. So I do think that things are trending in the right direction there. It's still not out of the woodwork, but we will see where things stand with Malachi here in the coming days. But that could be the first major domino to fall, in my opinion, Jacob.
Yeah, talking about Malachi, you mentioned it with some of these guys where it's that sit-down meeting with Pope, stay or go, end of the meeting, we know where he's headed. The Malachi situation feels way more like a long-term back and forth. They're having active conversations continually about his future, and this is something that isn't going to be decided in one individual meeting. It's continual conversations that are happening throughout this past week and throughout the next week.
Well, we will be following along with each and every one of those updates on KS Board, KSR Plus, and KentuckySportsRadio.com, and here on the KSR YouTube channel. For Jack, for Jacob Polachek, we will see you next time. Go Cats.